have some problems with the video camera, but I think it's now solved. Wonderful. Thanks for your feedback. Good afternoon to everyone. And welcome to our presentation of the digital guarantees. Again, I would like to welcome our first-timers who are not yet familiar with the concept of digital guarantees, and let's enjoy the time ahead of us, and hopefully you will find the information that I'm going to present to you useful. And let's try and discuss the new frontiers of the digital finance. I will tell you a few words about myself first, and then we will dive into the details of our project. My name is Emanuele Baroni. I'm a representative of the Ambassadors Council in Italy. I'm a vice president in the affiliate program of Evorich. I'm a project manager for NDE. I'm certified master profi coach, Genius of Finance host, member of the Association Journals of the World for Peace. I'm a speaker and a private investor. I've been with this company for 4 years. I saw it grow, and I'm a proud part of this company, of this team. And today I would like to introduce to you one of our recent projects, which is now part of our portfolio, part of our ecosystem, part of our big variety of projects. Let's change the slides. And let's talk about today's agenda. So who we are, where we are from, what the NDE mission is, what we offer, what kind of instruments we provide, who the end users are, why digital rating is important, and I will explain to you what kind of new professions we're going to have, especially in the age when jobs are being reduced and with the high unemployment rate. And then I will explain to you the overall NDE business. But first, we need to go back into history. I would like to take a few minutes to tell you where we are from. So the project was born in 2011. It all started with the Academy of a Private Investor. 8 years later, our wonderful educational program, Crypto Unit, popped up, which gave life to all our digital projects in the company. And then in 2021, we launched the NDE project, which is Digital Guarantees project. Let's change the slides and see what kind of journey the Academy of Private Investor took. As you can read from the slides, the Academy of a Private Investor is a global online portal with 10 years of experience, which has more than 1,650,000 registered users from over 176 countries worldwide. We have teachers with experience in investment and finance. We provide practical training in finance, investing, and personal growth. Also, we offer training courses, group sessions, one-to-one trainings, and mentorship. And all of those educational formats are available to all of the users, clients, partners of our ecosystem, and for them to achieve their desired result. The result that we all would like to achieve in our lives, such as improvement of our financial situation and turning our life around for the better. Let's take a look at the video and we'll understand what our academy does. Because, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, so let's put up the video and then I will be back with you.
Academy of a Private Investor. Who are we? We are an efficient educational system in 21st century. And every day, we work hard to get better. We teach how to manage money, how to multiply it and use it reasonably. We give people a complete picture of finance and investment science, personal development and business in 179 countries around the world. We have created and successfully used a variety of programs and workshops that help dozens of thousands of trained and successful investors to enter the market. Our students become investment advisors, portfolio managers and stock analysts. We train to find, analyze and select tools for successful business development in 20 segments of market. We teach to create investment portfolios and manage it by applying gained knowledge in practice. We support the initiatives of our students and are always open to venture projects. We are ready to bet on the future technologies. We unite people and show the path to financial freedom. We develop you and guide to creation of a new reality, according to the concept of the new economic evolution of the world. Instead of asking, how much do we earn, it is much more important to understand how we should preserve and increase earnings. And we have answers to these questions. We are the Academy of a Private Investors. We have updated our brand to achieve greater efficiency, global reach and ability to share even more knowledge. For people. For you.
Thank you very much for your attention. The reason why I'm showing it to you is because you need to show people the importance of investment thinking. So what is investment thinking? So basically, it's a trait, it's a way of thinking which helps people make money work for them. Of course, you can't get that thinking overnight. You have to learn to do it, but it is our obligation, it's moral duty to make sure that no matter what situation you find yourself in, you could turn everything around and come out of it with the best result. And I want the general director, the CEO of our company, to explain to us what 5 qualities, traits a person needs to have in order to achieve the best result. That's why I'd like to put up a video for you, and please pay care.
I'm Andrey and I'm here to present a new course called 8 Rules of Wealth. In this course, you will learn how you can use 8 fundamental rules to become rich in a very short time. What is true wealth? It can be compared to the 5 fingers. It takes 5 fingers to make a hand, not one, this, or that. In the same way, true wealth consists of 5 essential elements. Number 1 is health. To be rich, you need to be healthy. 2 is attitude. We need to develop the right attitude to yourself, to the loved ones, to people, to the city, to the planet, to the country you live in. 3 is emotions. One should always have a very high emotional level in order to develop the right attitude. 4 is financial independence. Many people aim for money, want to become financially rich, but you can imagine a man with one finger. He will be a freak, and that is why you need to develop harmoniously. And 5 is calling. This is what a coherent model of a rich person's development looks like. This is what you and I are going to talk about when we embark on 8 rules of wealth.
Wonderful. Let's see what the mission of the new economic evolution of the world is. Quite an ambitious project. And you can read in the bottom that it's all about global distribution of wealth, security and protection, helping others, prosperity and happiness, and fulfilling dreams. And here's what I wanted you to think and us to think about it. We created this new concept of evolution, of new economic evolution in the world a couple of years back. And last year was a very difficult year for all of us, not only for people who live in the European continent, but in the entire planet. The entire global population was affected by this pandemic. Some people say that it's all a hoax, that it's this virus doesn't exist, or this pandemic was artificially created, but we have to deal with the consequences anyways. What we see now is that people has less money, less freedom, and less confidence. The world has changed. Our way of life has changed. And no matter what the reason or the true causes of the pandemic are. Because if we think about those 5 points / fingers mentioned by our CEO, Andrey Havratov, I can surely say that some of those points weren't implemented. Like health, which is point number 1. We weren't able to achieve the first target. And because health right now is a very critical point, crucial point. And the news is not as positive as we want it to be. And if you don't have proper health, you can't have this harmonious development. It's like the last 1.5 years has been crossed out of our lives. And emotions, another aspect. A lot of people are quite negative right now because people see no hope, no light at the end of the tunnel. Why? Because they don't have financial freedom. They have no independence. They have no time for themselves, for their families. They can't spend time on what they really enjoy. And of course, it's also a period of disappointment and I guess even despair. But my advice to everyone is keep calm. Just take it easy. And if you join our community, always remember about our main mission, the mission of the new economic evolution of the world, which is priority number 1. That's our ultimate goal. For example, if we go back to those 5 fingers, 5 aspects of a balanced personality, some of them might have been already achieved by you, others not. But eventually, the new economic evolution of the world will make sure that all those 5 aspects are checked. And along with the new economic evolution in the world come quite a lot of developments in the digital world. And Crypto Unit project is one of such digital projects. Crypto Unit is an innovative training program, was an innovative training program, which was launched in 2019, that provided everyone with the opportunity to learn and become a co-owner of the WCRU global portfolio, even with minimum resources, minimum investment. And there have been several developments, serious developments, since its launch in 2019 on the 30th of March. And people were quite enthusiastic and are still enthusiastic about it, because over the time of the existence of that program, our investment portfolio grew very much. Now the current investment assessment of the portfolio is $11.6 billion, and we started with just $12 million, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the 8th of January 2020, the transition to the second part of development started. Then on the 19th of April 2020, the start of data transaction to our blockchain happened. And then in August 2020, the SEC authorization for the STO was given. And so what we did, we realized that people needed new instruments, new solution in these turbulent times. And after a in-depth research, on the 28th of January 2021, the new project was launched, the NDE project, which aims to help people overcome the difficult economic situation that we found ourselves in. And now on this slide, you can see headlines of major Italian newspapers, but I'm sure that same headlines, same articles are being published in many other newspapers as well, saying that the crisis is rampant and companies are going bankrupt, employees are losing their jobs, and I guess we have to go back almost 100 years ago and see that we're repeating the circle, the cycle. And companies are now almost in the same situation and they were during the Great Depression times. And it is not only the fact that companies now have less money, it's also the fact that that companies and even individuals lost their credit worthiness or became insolvent in the eyes of the financial sector. And let's take a look what the situation is for companies and individuals. Neither companies nor individuals can now take loans. They are not able to pay their bills. They can't pay their rent. And maybe you know people who took out a mortgage on their apartment or house 10, 15 years ago, and now they are in a situation when they can't pay their mortgage. And those people are quite honest, like salt of the earth people. And nevertheless, they lost their solvency. They lost their credit worthiness in the eyes of the banking financial sector. But also many financial institutions and companies lost their financial stance, financial strengths. And now those companies are in need of guarantees, new guarantees. And hopefully our solution is the solution that they've been looking for. And no matter if you are an honest or a dishonest people, but preferably honest, of course, we all need to have guarantees to be able to take out mortgages, loans, and overall to be able to raise funds for your business activities. So the mission of the company is to create a sustainable and fast digital rating for individuals and companies. So basically, thanks to that registry, banks and financial institutions will be able to check where the debtor is creditworthy, whether they are solvent. So for that, we created cryptocurrency, which is a digital share. And that digital share can be used as collateral. And the price of that digital share, of that token, grows all the time. So depending on the stage, the farther off the stage, the higher the price. And again, digital tokens can be used as collateral to return the creditworthiness back to individuals and companies alike. Now let's take a look at what we're going to get thanks to this new instrument, new facility, and what end users are going to receive thanks to this project. Let's change the slides. And let's take a look at the system advantages, the advantages of the centralized rating for companies. So basically, it's a huge database into which companies and physical individuals can be entered with just one click. And then any financial institution and bank can go to that, or not even a banking institution, a counterparty, your business partner can go there and check whether you are creditworthy, whether you have guarantees or not, whether they should, or whether you should deal with them, with your counterparties, or you shouldn't, because they might not be trustworthy enough. So here, this centralized rating saves us from losing time. It ensures fast financial operations. It provides security, financial effectiveness, and reliability. And this is just a few of the advantages that centralized rating offers. So let's change the slides and draw some comparisons. And let's see what the terms of the traditional banking guarantees are. So in order for, please change the slides. And in order to be able to receive funding, credit funding, you need to have some financial rating. And that financial rating required for individuals or businesses to deposit a non-refundable fee, which could range from 2% to 15% of the amount that you're seeking to borrow. And also time required to defrost the deposit at the end of the payment can be quite long. And basically, you simply freeze a lot of money for a very long period of time. And also, the same happens to any other collateral that you pledge against borrowed funds. And also terms of issue from that loan money are quite long too. It can be from 90 to 120 days. And sometimes you have to pledge your property as collateral in the amount equal to 100% of the loan amount. And so on the one hand, you make a non-refundable fee, then you have to pledge a collateral against the loan, and then it takes a lot of time for the loan money to be issued. And then you have to submit a whole package of documents, and you have to sometimes to rework maybe some because of some bureaucratic error, you'll have to rework the entire package. And it's not even a given fact that you will be given a guarantee. For example, you want to buy an apartment, and you found a nice place, and you wanted to buy that apartment, and you wanted to take out a mortgage, but then someone else comes in with enough cash to pay up front, and you lose that perfect apartment that you liked so much. Okay, let's see what are possible ND applications, possible uses of digital guarantees. First of all, it's instant advice on blockchain certified digital renting. So here, as you know, blockchain is entries made on the blockchain are unchangeable. They are there forever, can be changed. Also, so it ensures a lot of transparency. Also, it's guaranteed instant electronic payments. And it is absolute security, and I'm never tired of mentioning the degree of protection and security that blockchain can offer. Also, it's a blockchain, as I said, certified digital guarantee, which can be used for purchasing or renting a car or immovable property. And it's all possible thanks to digital guarantees. Also, we can work with digital escrow accounts for important payments such as notary deeds, precious metals transactions. So we can also ensure guaranteed payment of installments, or deferred payment, in other words. So the supplier can be sure that they will receive payment for all of the materials, products they supplied to their client. And also, it's a good business-to-business platform. It's B2B platform. And now let's take a look at what list of registers is. And we can work both with individuals, with municipalities, state authorities, and whole governments. So thanks to digital guarantees, we replace a whole bunch of documents that bank require, and it accelerates the whole transaction time. And as you can see, digital guarantees aim to work with banks, financial organizations, investment funds, companies, and it also aims to work with private individuals in the form of basic training. And you know, in schools, they never teach us how to manage money. And if you're not receiving education, specialized financial education, then many people don't know what to do and don't know how to dispose or manage their money, how to preserve and multiply it. And this is a gap our project, among other things, aims to fill. And our project also sheds lights on the digital world, all the new technologies out there, and you will eventually see the light at the end of the tunnel after receiving your training. But again, I would like to repeat the fact that people need to be trained. People need to be knowing and be educated, literate in the digital world. And one of the main requirements for people who would like to become members of our project is to receive training, professional training. And we will talk about the professional training a few minutes later. Let's change the slides for now. So let's talk about the reliability, both for companies and physical individuals. So, of course, the registry must be capitalized. There should be some capital that would guarantee the creditworthiness, the solvency of those companies. And at the moment, no other entity, no other project can offer anything like it. For example, I, as an owner of the company, I open my back office, I register my back office, and I receive my code. And then if I work with other actors like governmental officials, governmental institutions, I can receive access to some databases, but those databases are simply for informational purposes. They serve no other purpose. Whereas the digital guarantees rating allows you to receive loans for a lot of development projects, like infrastructural projects, building of roads, or urban development, industrial projects. And also, thanks to digital guarantees and the increased or extended range of funding opportunities, you can participate in different governmental tenders, public procurement tenders, because now you have access to higher amounts of money. And sometimes the government asks for performance guarantees in order for companies to have access or to win in a tender. And many companies, they already have enough cash, and others who have competence might not have enough money. So what they do is they can use tokens as collateral, as guarantee for the performance of the contract. And companies that might not have enough competency, but who have enough money, can sometimes drive out competent competitors who do not have enough money. And the digital guarantees will level the playground, level the field for everyone. And the competent companies will have a higher chance of winning the contract. And it is thanks to us, even small time business professionals, small companies and medium enterprises will be able to participate in huge governmental tenders. Also, participants of the project will be able to receive staking income. It's a kind of a deposit, but on blockchain. You will receive a certain reward for freezing, for staking your tokens, but it will be available for participants who join this project before the official back office is launched, before the personal accounts are launched. And all the potential participants have still 1 month to decide. So basically, you will you will pay the entrance fee, and you get a certain amount of tokens that you can stake. And those tokens are part of our overall capital. But you will be able to enjoy the rewards from staking those tokens. But again, I would like to reiterate that this option will be available until the back office is launched. So in other words, you will be able to use part of our overall capital. And when you stake those tokens, you will be receiving extra monthly income. So let's see who can use the register of companies. So, or why companies would use it. They can use it in their relations with other companies, in the relations between companies and private people, companies and banks, companies and governments. Well, of course, companies do not always trust each other. For example, a supplier might not be sure whether their delivery will be paid by the recipient of the client, recipient of the goods. And the register will help them make the decision. And it doesn't matter if you're a small, medium, or big company, you will be able to be included in that registry, and also you'll be able to check your counterparty in that registry. And among other things, I would like to remind you that the first comers will be able to receive, the early birds will be able to receive a decent number of tokens to stake, for staking, and to receive staking reward. And the more tokens you stake, the higher the reward you are going to get. And if you want to pay or to buy, tokens already today, you can go to the UCPay AG company, which is the authorized seller of WCRU tokens. And now let's see how private persons can use that registry. You can see that private individuals can also make use of those guarantees. So it can be tokens, or better, digital guarantees can be used in C2C relations, client-to-client relations. For example, some transactions between individuals. It can be rent. It can be borrowing funds, and so on and so forth. You can use tokens as collateral or a security deposit, for example, when you're renting an apartment. Also, registry can be used to rent a car or paying utility bills. So what's the difference between using tokens as collateral or fiat money as collateral? And the biggest difference is that tokens are growing in price all the time. For example, let's say I want to buy a car for my daughter. So I take a lease and I buy the car, give that car to my daughter. And as soon as the car leaves the car dealership, it immediately loses its original value. And I won't be able to sell that car for the same price. Whereas if I use tokens as collateral, 2 or 3 years later, if all of a sudden I decide to, not to use the car anymore, or I paid it all out, that collateral is returned back to me, and its current market value will be higher than the value it had when I pledged it 3 years ago. That's why it is so important to use collateral, to use crypto assets as collateral, and not just fiat money or conventional property. So I have, on the one side, continuous income from staking, and at the same time, the market value of the token, of the collateral, is growing. It's like putting your money in a piggy bank, which grows all the time. maybe I don't need that money right now. I have a good paying job and everything is peachy. But what if one day I decide to quit? Or what if I want to work part-time and just enjoy my life? So I can always go back to that piggy bank and take the money from it. Maybe originally you put a little amount in it, but several years later, that amount, those tokens, will have a way higher price. So remember the 5 aspects of a well-balanced personality. So health, positive emotions, this is very important. And the mission too. So let's not lose our focus. Let's change the slides and I would like to show you here our goal, the goal of the new digital evolution for 2020, 2030, for the next decade, and all the opportunities that we have. That we shouldn't miss. And those are the opportunities that are available to the entire world. So the target for us is to cover 10 million companies, which is a quite feasible amount considering the overall number of companies out there, and 100 million individuals. So we crunched some numbers and saw that this is the target number of both companies and individuals that we have enough capacity to work with. And then you can see what can be the potential sales volume or the turnover in 2021, 2030. And those figures are also realistic, considering the fact that we will be receiving dividends from the investment portfolio. And the more tokens you have, the higher your dividends are going to be. So basically, the turnover alone from the sales to individuals, sales of training to individuals, can be as high as $25 billion. Plus, the turnover from the sale of trainings to companies, legal entities, will be even higher, which can be 112 billion and a half billion dollars, whereas the sales volume of the token between companies can be as high as $800 billion. And if we receive only 2% from that turnover as our dividends, it's already an immense, a huge amount of money. So we need to understand what our ultimate goal is. And by the way, this is just one of the projects that are being developed within the global investment portfolio. And already one project can give us quite much. And now, let's talk about something that we haven't yet mentioned. We talked about finance, we talked about the opportunities, and now let's talk about creating new professions. So there will be a couple of new professions coming up. And the first profession is we call it a signaler. Or in other words, it can be called an informer. It's a person who is interested in participating in our community. So those are people who are the frontliners, people who spread the information about the project and its opportunities. Whereas the next profession is digital seller. Digital seller is a professional salesperson trained in the sale of digital products, digital guarantees. And then the next type of profession is a digital manager. A digital manager is an expert specializing in the NEEW back office and is registered in the digital managers list. So digital seller, let's start with the digital seller. Signaler or informer is more or less clear. So the digital seller is a professional salesperson who joins the company, closes a training contract, registers physical individuals and legal entities alike. Remember, we are working under the multi-level crowd investing principle. And when digital seller closes a deal, they receive their commission. Also, all the people that a digital seller registers go to the first line of either the digital seller or the signaler. And that's how your structure grows. Now let's see what kind of requirements will be set for digital salespeople. So you might think that it is very difficult, but it's not. All you have to do is to take a training course as a digital seller, then register as an individual entrepreneur or any other form of business incorporation. What you need to have is your own taxpayer's number. In Italy, it's called VAT. So in other words, you take the training course, you have your own business as an individual entrepreneur or a small business, then you take the test, you get certified, and as soon as you get your certificate that you're a digital seller, you can start your work. And now let's talk about a different profession, which is the digital manager. It's a person who is trained and ready to handle smart contracts. And we will have two lists, List A and List B. List A consists of professionals that will be working within one specific company. The company pays for their digital managers training so that the digital manager can work really quickly with our product. Also, we're going to have a List B. And those are digital managers that will be able to work with third parties and on behalf of third parties who do not have their own digital manager. So it's like outsourcing digital manager for companies that don't have a digital manager of their own. And they will be able to handle their back offices, sign smart contracts, and have the digital guarantees issued. Now let's change the slides and see what 5 sections have been created, or 5 categories of digital managers are out there. Well, all those sections, all those categories represent different levels, because there have very different types of companies or forms of incorporation out there, and we shouldn't have just one digital manager handling all of them. So the first category of digital managers will be managers working with family businesses or individuals. And the second category is a business manager working with individual entrepreneurs or sole proprietors. And then category 3 is the category of managers who will be working with LTDs, LLCs. And then the fourth category will be working with joint stock companies. And then the fifth category of digital managers will have the right to work with holdings, whole group of companies. And the higher or the bigger the company you are going to work with, the higher your category, your digital manager category should be. And if you are planning to expand your business, then surely you have to send your digital manager to receive a high-level training. So I'd like to repeat here that category 5 allows digital managers to work with large multinational corporations. So I would like to say here that when you pay for your education, you will not only receive the basic course training, but you will be also eligible to receive all the updates that are going to be issued from time to time. So we talked about the lists and categories, and now let's discuss the training part itself. Of course, training is based on a fee, but I think that the training fee is not that high, really, considering the benefits it offers. And the main criterion for our partners is to understand what they are investing in and what they are doing. So let's discuss the essence of the training. So the entire training course of NDE will consist of 15 sections, 60 lessons. And the program is going to be divided into 15 sections, 4 lessons in each section. So it's not going to be a 2-3 day training all in one go. As I said, it will be split into individual sessions and lessons. And every lessons will be dedicated to a specific area of specific business area or business sector. And I'm absolutely sure that if we compare those prices with the prices for some other training courses in the market, we will see that it doesn't seem so expensive. Just imagine the education you get in college, conventional, traditional education, and then compare the prices and the quality. You'll definitely see that it's value for money. Okay, so the first type of training, the training for private individuals, costs $100, which is standard training. And the information, the knowledge that you're going to receive will allow you to use digital guarantees for your own purposes. You won't be able to use the knowledge in your relations with banks, financial institutions, or other companies. But if you think that you will need some kind of loans, credits, and you're going to have interactions and relations with banks, financial organizations, then you have to receive the Training Plus package, which costs $400. So you not only receive knowledge, but also the permit to work with third parties. And you will have full information about all the you will have all the details. And again, we would like to have as many educated partners as possible in this project. And let's see what kind of training packages we have for legal entities or companies. So we split it into 4 categories. Training 1, which is intended for individual entrepreneurs and the so-called free trade specialists. So the Training 1 package costs $2,500. It's individual entrepreneurs and the so-called self-employed people, specialists in their respective areas. As for the second training, it costs $5,000. Here we're talking about training for LLCs, LTDs, consortiums of companies, and associations. And all of them can also aim for a more expensive package, but not less expensive. So if you're an LTD, you have to purchase the training intended for LTDs, $2,500. But you can also buy the training for $12,500. And the biggest package costs $5,000. So how much do those registry codes cost? And you need those codes to be entered for your company to be entered into the registry. So at this stage, if you buy your code, you will get huge advantages, huge benefits. So by paying $2,500, you receive a certain amount of tokens that you can stake and receive your staking reward for that. So basically, it's a package that includes a certain amount of tokens, which allow you to receive staking income. And also, you get the difference in the price between the purchase price and the price that the tokens will have several months later, for example, December this year. And I'm absolutely sure that the costs companies will bear on the purchase of the codes will be fully reimbursed by the staking income and the difference in price. So this is a very lucrative opportunity. And if you linger and if you do not buy the codes before the launch of the back office, then the code prices will change. In some instances, you will pay less. For example, individual entrepreneurs will have to pay only $500, but they will not receive any tokens to stake. So LTDs will have to pay $1,000. Joint stock companies will pay $5,000, and holdings will have to pay $10,000 to be registered in that register, receive their code. But again, I would like to repeat that tokens will not be offered as part of the package. And I would like to repeat the reasons why you should be included in the registry. You will have your own credit worthiness, credit rating. You will have access to government procurement tenders and participate. If you're a construction company, you can participate in the infrastructure, in the implementation of infrastructural projects and so on. And now I would like to talk to you about the marketing plan. But before I show the marketing plan to you, I would like to mention one caveat. This marketing plan will apply to people who want to bring in new clients. But again, this marketing plan will come into force when the back office of the NDE is launched. Currently, we will be using Evorich marketing plan. And again, as soon as the back office for NDE is launched, a new marketing plan will come into force. Please change the slides. Thank you. And this is the reward we get from the network, from different levels. You can see we have a digital seller put into a different category. So you can see that the first yellow line represents your first level, people who you register into your first line. Basically, this is the commission fees that our signalers, informers, are going to receive. They will be receiving 7% from their first line, 4% from the second line, 3.5% from the third line, and so on. And the digital sellers will also be receiving 7%. They will be receiving 7% from all the contracts, from all the deals that they're going to close. And well, this is more or less our marketing plan. I don't think it's rocket science. It's quite simple. So we can go to the next slide. And here I'm going to show you some specific numbers, how much you can earn by selling training within the digital guarantees project. So by selling just one package worth $2,500, you make $175. USDU is our blockchain's stable coin, equal to $1. So if you sell a package worth $25,000, then your commission is going to be $1,750. But then again, even if you sell one small package per day, for example, you sell one package of $2,500 a day, then take $175 and multiply it by 20 working days in a month, and you already get an amount which is higher than the average salary worldwide. Because no, different countries have different average salaries, but if we take the average, worldwide average, then surely you can make more money by just selling one cheap package per day. So, and this is also part of the whole employment program and the creation of new jobs. So those figures are quite realistic. You get 7% from each sale that you make. So what else I need to say here? For example, what if a person says, yes, I'm interested. What should I do to start working in this project? Let's change the slides and discuss it more in detail. So here's our strategy for success. Basically, in order to join the community, you need to first register. And then you do your due diligence. You research everything, and then you do the planning. During the planning, you reserve a code assigned after taking and passing the exam. Then you purchase training, you undergo the training, you pass the exam again, and you create your digital rating, which will take minimum 3 to 6 months. And then you start the implementation. You register a company in the register with an assigned code, and you start activities in the community. Again, to be able to receive your registry, you have to purchase that code. And I'd like to remind you that along with the package goes a certain amount of tokens that you can stake to receive a reward. And also, the more people, the more partners you bring in, the higher your commission is going to be. Because if I, for example, am a client, in order for me to be able to make use of the digital guarantees, my supplier also needs to be part of the same ecosystem, of the digital guarantee ecosystem. And maybe someone will say, yes, it's all nice, but what if it doesn't take off? But guys, we need to simply imagine or have the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that companies are in dire need of funds, are in dire need of funding. Also, we have another aspect that we haven't discussed. And I would like to discuss it right now. And you might be wondering why we have rice or bread on this slide. Well, bread and rice are staple foods that most global population uses. And here I would like to discuss the CRU purchasing capacity. And CRU is the underlying token for the whole digital guarantees projects, or WCRU. So in 2019, 1 kilogram of bread on average worldwide cost $3.2. So in 2019, if you wanted to buy 1 kilogram of bread with CRUs, you would pay 2,206 CRUs. Then in 2021, the bread price grew as well by 50 cents. It's now $3.7 per kilogram. And now the current token price is 40 cents, which already means that to purchase 1 kilogram of bread, you will have to pay 9 to 10 tokens. And you can see already the difference. It's several hundred times. And then in 2023, we can expect the 1 kilogram of bread to cost $4. And the projected price for the token in 2 years is around $114, which means that you will have to pay 0.03 tokens to purchase 1 kilogram of bread. Let's change the slide. And the same math applies to rice as well, if it's easier for you to compare. So let's change the slides. Yes. And see the CRU purchasing capacity expressed in something different, gold and a Ferrari. And Ferrari is given an example not because I'm Italian, but because their shares, Ferrari shares, very good collateral, very, very good collateral. So this is almost like blue chips. It's a very stable share, and which is only growing. So let's take gold as an example first. In 2019, 1 gram of gold cost $40, and 1 gram of gold was equal to 27,500 CRUs. Then in 2021, 1 gram of gold cost $55. And now 1 kilogram of gold is worth 137 CRUs. And in 2021, if the trend persists, 1 gram of gold will cost $75. And gram, not kilogram. And 1 gram of gold will cost 0.65 CRUs with a projected price of $114. And now let's change the slides, yes, and go back to the example of bread or rice. Take a careful look at this slide. Year 2021, I would spend 9.3 tokens to buy 1 kilogram of bread. In 2 years, with the same amount of tokens, I would be able to buy 286 kilograms of bread. So it's like the same math, but from a different angle, from a different perspective. Imagine that in 2021, you invested your fiat money into tokens, and the tokens will grow in price. And even if it does not reach the target price of $114, even if it grows to half of that target indicator, it's already a huge return on investment. So $4 invested into buying 10 tokens will give you like what? 200, 100, 300 kilograms of bread. Well, again, bread is just an example. Even if a token costs $50 and not $114, it's still quite a huge return. You're gonna buy what, 100 kilograms of bread? This is quite a lot of food. And just remember that US dollar has a natural inflation of 3 to 4% per year. So basically, if you don't do anything with your fiat money, eventually you're gonna be able to buy less and less with the same amount of money. That's why money doesn't like lying idly around without being invested. And let's take glass half full approach here. It is normal that right now we are in the living in the conditions of the pandemic. Many people are in depression, have no hope, but I think we can reverse the whole situation and just be positive. And on that, I would like to say goodbye to all of our partners. Take care.